Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
You know, we keep talking about things we're thankful for, and when I think about that, I think about how thankful I am for this job, because I really just talk about the weather all day. I just showed you a time lapse, and I'm already doing spectacular at it. Now I just talk about the temperatures and talk about how cold it is. Now, thank you for all of you who stop and just let me talk your ear off about what you're doing either at work or what you do for work, and then I come here and I talk about how cold it's been over the last 24 hours, down into the lower 60s, all the way up into those lower 70s, so I kept eye on about 10-degree warm-up, and of course some of that heavier rain making its way in this morning. Then it cleared out by this afternoon. It's been a pretty busy day for me, tracking all that cloud cover. Then of course already down into those lower 50s, and we're going to level out in those lower 40s, so make sure you're practicing a lot of that space heater safety, because by tomorrow only up into those lower 70s, but cooler weather's definitely on the way. I'm keeping my eye on it. 50 in San Angelo. Everybody else in a healthy combination of lower 50s, if not those upper 40s across the entire area. I'm always looking for 10 degrees because that's a standard cooling rate or not heating rate across the entire Concho Valley. There's not much else to look for. 60 in Coleman, 51 in Sterling City, so we have about 10 degrees if you want to count Ozona over there. So there's our 11 degrees after some of that heavier rain makes its way out with some of those cooler temperatures and that drier weather. Dew points are back down there in those 40s, while humidity indices are in those 70s all the way up into those 80s, but I don't think we're going to see any cloud cover. A little bit of residual moisture hanging around the entire area, but just not enough heating for some of that evaporative action to take place with some cloud cover. Now, of course, upper level winds are showing us where the colder air is on its way in, so I'm on the lookout for some freezing precipitation by the beginning of December, which is right around the corner. So you only have about 2 days until Thanksgiving, but I promise you we're going to be hovering around those freezing temperatures. Now, atmospheric moisture is also showing us where the cold air is making its way down from the north, but off the west coast it's on the recharge. So I promise you, as we start the weekend, we're going to watch that cloud cover make its way back in, and then some steady rain is on its way. I promise you it's looking like freezing precipitation, but hopefully it warms up a little bit, and it just goes around with that Concho Valley bubble. Now, of course, temperatures are showing us where the blues are pushing all the way back down around the panhandle, and we're hovering around those greens. So we're going to be back in those 60s and those 40s overnight again, practicing that warmer weather. Severe weather outlook has been East Texas all day long, and that's that powerful storm that was over us all weekend. So it's pretty slow in nature, but it gives us a better idea of the cooler weather that's going to be making its way in just after Thanksgiving. Now, down at the surface, this tornado watch box has been going for about 8, if not 9 hours right now. A slow moving storm, but right behind it, getting a better idea of the high pressure and the winter storm that is pushing across parts of Minneapolis and Minnesota. Here comes the Futurecast to get a better idea of the winter weather. Now, we're talking about how fast that cold air could get here by December. Now, there's a whole lot of snow across the entire Rocky Mountains. In fact, every single snow resort is open right now. So if you're driving up there, make sure you check the weather. But of course, when we're keeping our eye on what that means for colder weather down here in the Concho Valley, all that moist air has nothing standing in the way. So it's definitely going to take on the characteristics of all that snow and make its way down here into the Concho Valley while we deal with that high pressure and that cooler weather. So it's definitely priming the region for some of that heavier snow to stick around tonight, all the way back down into those lower 40s, but layer up if you are headed out. Then tomorrow, a good run at those lower 70s, but it's feeling more like fall, and I think it's the last Taco Tuesday of November, so make it count, because I know all those groceries are really going towards Thanksgiving. As we get closer towards the weekend, I'm watching that cloud cover make its way in, of course holding on to those mid 60s, but as that cloud cover makes its way in, a little bit of that rain shower activity will pick up as we drop all the way down into those lower 40s, while those overnight lows push down into those lower 30s. Stay tuned. I'm off the break. You're watching KSAN News at 10.